Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Stews here, and welcome back to another movie review. With the release of Nolan's new movie Oppenheimer, I'm going to be reviewing some of the Christopher Nolan movies leading up to that film. Sadly, I won't be reviewing all of Nolan's movies, mainly due to time restriction, time limitation, and I won't, and just the fact that I just won't have enough time to talk about all of them. So I thought just why not just select some, and I have selected my three Christopher Nolan movies that I will be reviewing in preparation for Oppenheimer. So now let's kick things off with this one right here. So yeah, the first Christopher Nolan movie I will review in preparation for Oppenheimer is Inception. So Inception came out in the year 2010 and is one of Nolan's films. I forgot which number, like I'm sure you know what I'm talking about in his filmography, and is of course directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Elliot Page, Ken Watanabe, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Marion Cotillard, Michael Caine, Lucas Haas, etc. And so basically, the plot for Inception tells the story of this CEO named Cobb who pretty much has this whole who's a thief, and he has this plan to steal secrets within subconscious dream, and basically he hires a team of people, like an architect, a college student who is a genius, and some other people to help him fulfill his mission to be able to steal secrets from other dreams, specifically from other people, specifically Cillian Murphy's character and his wife Mal, played by Marion Cotillard, who is the villain of the movie. And throughout the movie, throughout the first half of the movie, we learn about the concept of dreams, and how each one would build their own dreams, and they would be so realistic that sometimes you won't notice you're dreaming until some unrealistic weird things happen. And then the second half it goes to like the whole mission. The second half is a mission basically. So yeah. Long-term subscribers will know that I am passionate about Christopher Nolan. I think he is one of the single greatest directors of all time. He was my favorite director for the longest time, but now I think there are better directors, like Chris Buck, James Cameron, but Nolan would definitely be in my top three, easily. Yeah, I absolutely love this guy. This guy just makes great movies after great movies. Yeah, he does not do anything wrong. And although maybe the first film Insomnia, I'm not sure about that if I like that or not. I have to like rewatch it to see. But no, not Insomnia. It was following. Yeah, Insomnia was like one of his first films. But that was following. I mean, I love Insomnia. I think it's underrated, and yeah, I think all of Christopher Nolan's movies are amazing, and this guy man can't do it no wrong. Like there's not a single Christopher Nolan movie I dislike. Even some of his more divisive films like The Dark Knight Rises and Tenet, which Tenet is one of the Christopher Nolan movies I will be reviewing leading up to Oppenheimer. In fact, the last one. Even like those movies are masterpieces. And the World War II movie Dunkirk. Many people consider that movie to be overrated, but to be honest, no, it's not overrated. I think it is my favorite war film. It's a masterpiece in every single way. But yeah, but in particular, Inception and Interstellar are two Nolan films that I am just passionate about, and even the Dark Knight trilogy I am passionate about. So yeah, I mean now none of Nolan's films are in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Like, I would say, besides this and Interstellar, they don't really hit me on a personal level. Like, this and the Interstellar are the ones that are personal to me. But yeah, now let's share my thoughts on Inception. So yeah, this is one of Christopher Nolan's highest grossing movies. I forgot how much this grossed. I don't remember if this grossed $1 billion or not, but either way, yeah, this movie is regarded as one of Nolan's movies, and it's such an iconic modern film to this day, especially with releasing in the same year as the year that is considered to be one of the greatest years in cinematic history and one of the greatest years in the modern era of filmmaking. And yeah, let's talk about my opinion on Inception. So yeah, I gotta say to y'all, If you saw a title, yes, it is true. Inception is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, and this is why I chose Inception to. This is why I chose Inception as one of my selected Nolan movies I am going to be reviewing in preparation for Oppenheimer because this is my favorite Nolan film right here, and I'm really excited to explain to y'all why this is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. And yeah, there's just so much things to praise about this movie. Yeah, there's just so much reasons as to why. And yeah, now I know it usually would go back and forth between this and Interstellar and also The Dark Knight, but well, The Dark Knight was my favorite Nolan film. But although looking back at it, yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't think it's worthy of being my favorite Nolan film, even though it's his most well-made film. I think it doesn't really make as much of an impact on me as this and Interstellar. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, Inception is the greatest Nolan film. Nothing can top it. Although with the exception of Interstellar, yeah, I think it goes back and forth between this and Interstellar. Maybe when I rewatch Interstellar, it can end up being my favorite Nolan film. Who knows? But I think this one just gets stuck with me more. Yeah, that's why it's my favorite because it just gets stuck with me. So yeah, my dad introduced this to me back in 2018. I think 17 or 18. But yeah, when I was like a teenager, like a young preteen, like that, or like a young teenager, like in my early years of my teenage. Yeah, I was first introduced to this movie, and yeah, I'd like to thank my dad. This is one of his favorite movies of all time, and yeah, thanks to him for showing this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have watched it as early as that. But either way, I still would have discovered this movie and eventually watched it. But yeah, let's talk about Inception now. What else can I say? Where do I even start with this? So yeah, first of all, I think Christopher Nolan is the king of storytelling. There's no denying that. I mean, we got Chris Buck, who is a personal director to me, who just directed some of my absolute favorite movies like Frozen 2 and the upcoming movie Wish, which I'm sure it's gonna be one of my favorite movies of all time. Don't know if he'll tell Spider-Verse is the best movie of the year, but we'll see. Either first or second best movie of the year. And um, and also we got James Cameron, who is the king of visual effects, like just gorgeous looking movies. And yeah, and although he's a better director than Christopher Nolan to me, mainly because his movies are just more impactful, especially when he made Avatar: The Way of Water, which is better than all the Christopher Nolan movies in my opinion. But Christopher Nolan is the best when it comes to making stories. He makes stories that are so complex, so thought provoking. So okay, well, by the way, I'm in the club. I'm recording this in the clubhouse, so yeah, just don't mind the background noise. So yeah, but yeah, Christopher Nolan is just the king of storytelling. He knows how to write stories. He knows how to write original stories, and he knows how to make stories just so original and just so refreshing. And Inception is a perfect example of that. A very original story. And also another thing I love about Christopher Nolan is that he actually knows how to make stories just so complex and so thought provoking. It's not like mindless entertainment and stuff. It actually is just very. He makes his stories confusing, but in um now wait, but how do I say this? Well, he makes his stories confusing, but it in a good way where it actually does where it actually makes audiences think it actually treats audiences with respect and makes them feel smarter. And yeah, that's what I love about his stories. And I think Inception is one of the greatest written films of all time. Yeah, this whole concept about dreams, the difference between dreams and reality, and how these characters are caught up in just realistic dreams, and they can't really tell if they're dreaming or not unless if they just try to do something unrealistic and stuff. Yeah, that is just genius right there. Yeah, that's just a genius right there, and it's just so smart. And yeah, this movie is just mind blowing. Yeah, the visual effects in this movie, just one of the greatest visual effects. And yeah, wow. I mean, the visuals are just wow. Wow. I mean, one of the things I love about Christopher Nolan is that he doesn't put CGI in his movies. That his effects are actually very realistic. He doesn't put CGI, yet he still makes his movies visually stunning. So you may wonder, how did Christopher Nolan make this? I mean, this could have been just all CGI. If it wasn't Christopher Nolan, yeah, we could have been seeing so much of CGI in this movie. Like Like for example, that a perfect example of a movie similar to Inception with lots of CGI in it is Hypnotic. Yeah, Hypnotic. I have seen this movie, and honestly, I just already forgot about it. All I know is that it's very similar to Inception, but unlike Inception, yeah, that movie just uses lots of CGI, and it doesn't look nearly as impressive as Inception is. So yeah, we all know that Nolan doesn't make put CGI in his movie, so you may wonder. Okay, sorry for the loud noise, but yeah, you may wonder, how does Christopher Nolan do this? How does he make practical effects and make it look like this? So yeah, with films like The Dark Knight Rises, and all that stuff, you can actually see how he did it. You know, with Dark Knight, like he just did those things for real. Like he flipped a car for real. Like with Dark Knight Rises, he actually made a plane crash for real in the opening scene, and also in Tenet where he made car crashes and things go backwards just for real, because you can clearly see. But when it comes to Inception, you see like so many things floating, worlds just I don't know how to describe it, but it's just worlds coming together, dreams, thing, and then you see like so many just things that you can't really imagine being real, so that's one thing I love about this filmmaking is that is that you just don't know how they did it, and you just question how did they do that, and it is just so impressive that they just make this all so real. And Nolan saying that there's no CGI. And yes, this is a very unique movie as well as yeah, this is one of the best looking movies I have ever seen. Although I'd say no, Interstellar is the most visually gorgeous Nolan movie. I think it's just mainly thanks to the cinematography. But I think this movie's cinematography is just well shot, and yeah, it is almost just as gorgeous um, as Interstellar is. But yeah, I think Interstellar is the best visual effects in a Nolan movie. This one is close though. But yeah, back to where I was saying. Yeah, I don't know what else is there. Oh yeah, now one common criticism that people give with these Nolan movies is that he doesn't write great characters. Like he focuses more on plot than characters, and these characters don't get much development. Yeah, with Tenet, for example, Tenet, like people like complain about Tenet not having enough character development and just focusing too much on writing that very confusing story. But more in that when I review Tenet eventually. But yeah, but to me, but I can see where they're coming from, because I guess because if you know me personally, characters is my favorite aspect of film, even over a story. Yes, good writing is important. Good writing is an important element to filmmaking, but you can also have great characters within the story. You can also have great characters, but I think to me that you can have characters just hanging out without a story, like like films like Babylon and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those movies where they don't have much plot, but it's more just characters hanging out, just seeing characters together, and it just makes sense. And you just still give it a pass because you just love these characters. Yeah, that's pretty much why to me personally, characters are what makes a film so impactful. You can't write a story without characters. Yes, good script is important, but characters are pretty much the heart of the film. They're pretty much what makes the film so impactful. Yeah, you gotta make your characters really good, and all that stuff. I'm gonna make a video essay on why characters is more important in film than story. Why I find them more important. But yeah, but I know that Christopher Nolan doesn't make the best characters, but to me personally, I think I don't really agree with that criticism that Christopher Nolan makes poorly written characters. I mean, I like the characters in Tenet, and yeah, but I think Inception is no exception. I think these characters are amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love these characters. Yeah, and even the performances are really good. Yeah, let's start with the main guy himself, Leonardo DiCaprio's Cobb. And yeah, this is most certainly the best Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Now I wouldn't say Cobb is his best performance. I'd say Jack from Titanic is. Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance. It's not even close. I still think I still love the Cobb in this movie. Just such a really good main character. he's just well developed, and he's not just some smart thief. He actually has he actually has some resonance with his characters, and you actually get emotionally invested with him. Yeah, that's what makes Cobb so great, is that he you actually care about his character. And you know how he just wants to be with his wife. Yeah, you may think that it's just a mission, but no, his mission is actually very personal. And yeah, that's what I love about Inception. Like, it may be just a dream story, a story about dreams and subconscious, but deep down it's a personal story about Cobb just trying to get home. Cobb just desperately trying to get his wife back, and trying to plan into his wife's secrets. Yeah, I mean that's what I love, is that when the more the story unfolds, you get to realize what Cobb is really doing, why he's doing all this, and it's for personal reasons, and yeah, it's insane to believe. I also love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, great character. Like, there's some other great characters, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is really good, one of my favorite performances. Although I think he's far better as Bane. Since Bane is my favorite Tom Hardy role, in my personal opinion. Um, and then you got Cillian Murphy as Robert. And yes, Cillian Murphy. Y'all know Cillian Murphy is gonna be the lead in. Cillian Murphy is gonna be the lead character in the lead actor in the new Sorry about that. Wait, getting all distracted. But yeah. Um, Cillian Murphy is going to be the new lead in the upcoming Christopher Nolan movie Oppenheimer, and yeah, Cillian Murphy is such an underrated actor. Yeah. I mean, I love how Cillian Murphy has constantly been working with Christopher Nolan in all Nolan movies, but now he's gonna take a lead role. Yeah, he's always been supporting characters in Nolan movies, but if you notice, yeah, Cillian Murphy is always, like, out of all the actors, Cillian Murphy appears the most times in Nolan movies, and yeah, I'm happy for him, like, getting a lead role on Oppenheimer. So yeah, I think that's probably one reason why I chose to review this, because Cillian Murphy's in it. And yes, he's in other Christopher Nolan movies too, but I wouldn't say he's not in the other two Nolan movies I'll be reviewing, but okay, whatever, it's fine. So yeah, and then we also got, but let's get to my two favorite characters in this movie. Two favorite characters, yeah, my second favorite character is Mal. Yep, the villain of the movie. And Mal, and while she's no joke, I still think Joker is the best Christopher Nolan villain, and Bane is the second best Christopher Nolan villain. I mean, Mal is one of the best villains in a Christopher Nolan movie. I mean, she's just um yeah. I mean, first of all, I love that she is just a very personal villain who just wants to make things right, and who just she just wants to make things right for Cobb. And it's hard to explain her villain, but yeah, she's such a obviously she is such an underrated villain, and I think more people need to recognize her as a brilliant villain. Yeah, and she's by far my favorite Marion Cotillard role. I mean, she hasn't really had some great roles lately, especially Assassin's Creed. Oh, but here in this movie, yeah, Marion Cotillard gives such a very emotional and resonating performance. If I say she gives the best performance in this movie. And you can clearly see why Mal did all this. Yeah, her arc. I'll say her arc is the most complicated thing in the whole movie. So it's hard to explain. But yeah, her villain is just well written, and you actually care about her. And you actually understand where she's coming from, why she's doing this. It's hard to. I want to analyze her villain further, but yeah, it's just hard to explain. Because, like what I said, it's the most complicated thing about this whole, the most complex thing about this whole film. But yeah, I think the complexity of Mal's character is just what makes her just such a great character. But my personal favorite character in this movie would have to be Ariadne. And yeah, honestly, I think Ariadne might be my favorite character in the Christopher Nolan movie. Yep, even over Joker. And yes, hot take, Joker isn't my favorite character. He's certainly the best male character in the franchise, and the best, like what I said just a few minutes ago, the best Christopher Nolan villain. But I think both Ariadne and Murphy are my top two favorite Christopher Nolan characters. Christopher Nolan characters. But yeah, The reason why Ariana is my favorite character in the movie is um anyway, the reason Ariana is my favorite character in Inception is because of just how smart she is. Yeah, she's just a smart, clever, cute character. Yeah, she's my Christopher Nolan crush, by the way. But that's just not the reason. I just now people I feel like Ariana gets a little too much criticism because people criticize her for just being this character who's just constantly asking clever questions. How does this work? Like instead of actually doing something, people say she does nothing, but actually, but but I mean, to all of you who say that Ariana does nothing in this movie, you're a bunch of idiots and you didn't pay attention, because almost like three-fourths of the dreams that you see in this movie are built by Ariana. So why would you say she did nothing when she built a lot of these dreams here? Yet, I mean, the moment that Cobb just taught Ariana how to just build dreams, she just builds like she made most of these dreams, and she literally overshadowed Cobb. And people are just people love to complain about women overshadowing men, but who cares? I think that's kind of a good thing for me. Like that never really bothers me when women overshadow men. But yeah, I mean, Elliot Page, formerly Ellen Page in this movie, when this movie came out, but now it's Elliot Page. But yeah, this is my favorite role she did, and yeah, she clearly stole the show here. Yeah, when just she clearly stole the show here. So yeah, anything else before you mention? Oh yeah, the action scenes in this movie are absolutely mind blowing. Yeah, just so many great action scenes. But I think we can all agree that the hallway fight is the hallway fight is the best scene, the standout scene in the entire film. Just seeing all these cool practical stunts, and yeah, unlike some other scenes where you wonder how they did it. Yeah, the hallway fight. Yeah, I can see how they did it without using CGI. And then that score, yeah, one of my favorite Hans Zimmer score. I'm not sure if exactly I would say it's my favorite Hans Zimmer score. Right now, I'm in a debate on which is my true favorite Hans Zimmer score. As of now, sorry about the noise, but as of now, I'm leaning towards Interstellar more, or Inception. But yeah, Hans Zimmer is the goat, man. He's my favorite composer of all time. But although I still haven't really reached the final decision what my favorite Nolan score is, what my favorite Hans Zimmer score is. But yeah, Hans Zimmer will always be my favorite composer in history. Yeah, that is a no debate. But I would say movie-wise, the best movie he composed is No Time to Die. But I don't think it's his best score. I wouldn't say it's my favorite score. Lion King is a contender, I guess, for best Nolan's for best Hans Zimmer score. But yeah, no one will top Hans Zimmer as the best score, best composer, and yeah. And of course, well, you can't talk about Inception without talking about the ending. So yeah, people have been questioning what actually happened in the end. What really happened? I'm sure you remember, remember the part. I mean, you may have thought it's a very happy ending with just Cobb being able to reach home to be able to see his kids again. But then when he spends with both of them, it's actually I mean, it's still I'm sure you know the concept. It's still like movie, but moving. So people have been asking, will it fall or not? Because if it still spins, that means Cobb is in a dream. If it falls, that means it's not a dream. It's not a dream. So yeah, such a clever ending of Christopher Nolan to trick us. Yeah. So yeah. So overall, Inception is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie and the best movie 2010. No other movies in that year come close. So yeah, and this movie is smart, action-packed, just epic all around, just a gorgeous movie, and just simply put, a well-made movie. So yeah, it's in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. So yeah, no other Christopher Nolan movies can dethrone this, with the exception of Interstellar, because I wouldn't be surprised if I rewatch Interstellar and then it becomes my favorite Nolan movie. Again, just like a few months back, like a few years ago, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, yeah, I'm sure with Nolan, every 10 years, Nolan would make these mind F's movies, these very weird, confusing movies that have very similar concept, but yeah, they're pretty much, yeah. With 2000, it's Memento. 2010 is Inception. 2020 was Tenet, and yeah, I can't wait to see what Nolan would do in 2030. So with that said, I'm gonna give Inception, of course, a 10 out of 10. So also for my review of Inception, what is your opinion of this movie? Do you, do you agree with me that this is the best Christopher Nolan movie, or do you have a favorite? another favorite Nolan movie. And yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review of The Dark Knight. However, I won't be able to make videos until July 18th. Because I'll be going on a trip to Valley for like until the 17th night. So yeah, 18th is when I could start uploading reviews again. So yeah. And July 18th is The Dark Knight's 15th anniversary, so it's perfect. So yeah. Bye, guys.